chapter, sniffing out the loves that lose. Swipe or bite, it's the end of the world tonight.
Dating app apocalypse, clever girl survival guide. Well, look at who clawed her way out of a manuscript mountain. Yeah, I know it's been a hot minute. I didn't get lost in the dating jungle. I got buried under a different kind of research, turning this entire podcast into a book. 300 pages of dating fossils, emotional field notes, and of course, knowing me, the occasional coffee stain. I know coffee abuse, right? So while you were out there collecting red flags, I was at my desk cataloging them for science and KDP distribution. Now that the book baby's born and the ink's barely dry, it's time to get back to the microphone. Because no field guide is complete without fresh research from the front lines of modern dating. Have you ever met somebody and bam, instant chemistry, and 2 weeks later, poof? Turns out chemistry lights the match, but compatibility keeps the fire from burning down the jungle. Welcome back to Dating App Apocalypse Season 2, new chapter, same raptor, smarter science. Alright, explorers, welcome to the Compatibility Lab. Your host, me, clever girl, now a published author and still a professional disaster analyst. After months of editing emotional fossils, I needed a co-researcher who of course knows her stuff.
Three horns, one purpose, emotional clarity. Good to be back in the lab, CG.
So, Trixie, why do we keep confusing chemistry with compatibility?
Well, that's simple because chemistry's flashy and dopamine, adrenaline, attraction. Compatibility is quiet, habits, values, how you coexist after the fireworks.
Chemistry's the spark, compatibility's the fire pit. One's cute. The other prevents emotional deforestation.
Exactly. Healthy love needs both, but chemistry alone is a meteor. Bright, loud, short-lived.
Let's review my latest research samples collected while I was definitely not procrastinating on Chapter 8. The Soulmate Sprinter. I can't believe I met you. Day 7. I wrote you a song. It's mostly ukulele.
Classic case of chemistry on caffeine. They confuse speed with substance. You're swept into the fantasy before you've even exchanged last names properly. Every moment is fireworks, until someone realizes no one built a fire pit.
Oh, so emotional fast food. Tastes amazing, crashes hard.
Exactly, they run on adrenaline, not attachment. When the high fades, so does the forever.
Field note. Return ukulele, keep the playlist. Specimen 2, the hobby clone. Everything matches. Favorite show, same coffee order, same spirit animals, Spotify Wrapped, and trauma playlist? Identical. Feels like destiny until you realize you're dating your own search history.
That's merit, an emotional camouflage tactic. It's not connection, it's performance. They copy your interests to feel compatible, not because they are.
So they're basically the human version of recommended for you?
Exactly. It feels like a validation, but later you realize there's no them behind the reflection. Real relationships need contrast, not cloning.
Ah, next time I'll ask for a unique hobby before I follow my own algorithm. Okay, I need caffeine before I pretend adrenaline is attraction. Let's talk good decisions in a cup.
Balanced notes. Balanced dating.
Primal Brew. Compatibility Blend.
Tired of dating before caffeine and choosing chaos before clarity. Meet Primal Brew, Compatibility Blend. Crafted for survivors who deserve someone as stable as their latte.
Recommended serving with boundaries and a functioning prefrontal cortex.
Tastes like not texting my ex.
Primal Brew. Because you shouldn't need adrenaline to feel a spark.
Primal Brew, love that lasts past the first cup. Compatibility is hot.
Specimen 3. The Deep Talker. We bonded over childhood trauma and existential dread by date 2, but I still don't know their middle name.
That's vulnerability without safety nets. Trauma bonding disguised as intimacy. They lead with deep emotional confession before it creates instant closeness. But with the scaffolding of trust, it's unstable.
So it's like skipping to season 6 of a show and wondering why the plot makes no sense?
Exactly. Emotional connection isn't a speed run. Real intimacy takes pacing, not plunging.
Field note. Compatibility should come with a seatbelt. Specimen 4. Specimen 4, the fixer-upper. They say things like, I need someone who believes in me, while they're holding the metaphorical paintbrush and emotional duct tape.
Yes, codependency construction zone. You fall for potential instead of the person in front of you. They hand you their unfinished business and call it love.
So it's less partner and more project?
Exactly. Love isn't a renovation. If you're constantly fixing, you're not building, you're bleeding.
Field note. Future studies should avoid anyone with work in progress as their life motto. Specimen 5. The Velociraptor. Deep, mysterious texts at 2 a.m.? What even is love, really? They quote Nietzsche between selfies and somehow never actually commit to dinner plans?
That's avoidant intellectualizing. They overanalyze to avoid vulnerability. Philosophy is their emotional smoke screen. Looks deep, feels to touch.
So the vibe is sapiosexual sage, but the follow-through is ghost in a turtleneck.
Exactly. They discuss the metaphysics of relationships until you forget you wanted a real one.
Field note. Clever minds are hot, but hearts that show up are hotter. So maybe the real experiment isn't about collecting specimens, it's about decoding your own data. Speaking of data, grab your field notes because it's quiz time. Welcome to the Compatibility Quiz, where science meets chaos and self-awareness comes with multiple choice answers. Finally, a test you can't fail unless you try to date your own reflection again. No promises. Let's find out what kind of connection creature you really are. So get on your lab coat and safety goggles. It's a lab after all.
Great. Nothing says romance like standardized testing.
Exactly. This is the Compatibility Quiz, where chemistry meets chaos and you might just discover your dating type before you combust. Round 1. Basics of bonding. Question 1. Can you share silence without panic? Because if a pause in conversation feels like a cliffhanger, you might be confusing constant stimulation for connection.
Yes. Silence isn't awkward, it's data. It tells you whether safety or anxiety fills the gaps.
If your heart spikes like you just saw a T-Rex every time things get quiet, maybe it's not love, it's survival mode. Question 2. Do you handle stress in compatible ways? One of you can't be meditating while the other's rage texting a 3-page dissertation about tone.
Stress reveals emotional regulation or lack thereof. You're not looking for identical reactions, but you do need harmony. Think complementary nervous systems, not dueling banjos.
Right. If your coping styles clash like cymbals, that's not chemistry, that's a concussion. Question 3. Do your core values align? Not just your Netflix algorithms. Because shared playlists are cute until you realize they don't believe in therapy, consent, or even returning text messages.
Values are the skeleton of compatibility. If those don't match, everything else is pretty skin over chaos.
So my relationship with the ukulele guy was basically a decorative fossil?
Exactly that. Lovely to look at, extinct in practice.
Noted. Round 2. Emotional endurance tests. All right, bonus round. Can you fight fair? Conflict isn't failure, it's field research.
Healthy disagreement rebuilds intimacy, unless your partner vanishes mid-argument.
Yes. The classic disappearing dino maneuver. If they ghost after confrontation, that's not mystery, that's natural deselection. And let's be honest, if you're scoring this quiz thinking of somebody who's already disappeared, you just passed your own pop quiz. You deserve better data. Round 3. The Reflection Lab. Now this part's for the researchers, aka you listening with that suspiciously raised eyebrow. Yes, I can hear that eyebrow. Take a moment, think about your last relationship experiment. Were you studying connection or trying to prove a hypothesis?
A lot of people test their worth instead of their compatibility. They enter every date like a lab trial. If they love me, I must be valid. That's not science. That's self-sabotage.
Oof. Direct hit, Dr. Dino.
Affection doesn't need proving, it needs pacing.
So real compatibility is less lightning strike, a more slow chemical reaction. You don't rush a good potion, or it explodes.
Precisely.
Round 4. Self-scoring time. All right, field researchers, it's time to tally your results. If you said no to all 3 of the big questions, can you share silence without panic? Do you handle stress in compatible ways? Do your core values align? Then congratulations, you're not dating a partner, you're dating a science experiment.
Unethical research at that?
No ethics approval, no emotional safety protocols, just vibes and chaos. Round 5, the aftermath analysis. Here's the thing. Chemistry gets all the credit, but compatibility pays the bills. Chemistry says, I want you. Compatibility says, I can sustain this.
Exactly. One's the spark, the other's the pilot light. You need both, or you're relating the same doomed experiment over and over again.
And that's how the lab starts to smoke.
Clever girl? Is that actual smoke?
Maybe. I might have left my soulmate sprinter file too close to the Bunsen burner.
Ah, of course you did.
Well, it looks like our next section's about to heat up. Pun fully intended. Stay tuned, survivors, because when compatibility fails and chemistry overloads, seems the lab catches fire.
Stop, drop, and rise above. Chemistry-proof emotional fire extinguisher.
Ever caught feelings faster than you can say what's your attachment style? Congratulations, your lab is on fire.
Introducing the chemistry-proof emotional fire extinguisher. Simply aim at the red flag, squeeze, and sweep away the disaster.
Warning, may reduce tolerance for bare minimum behavior.
Side effects include self-respect, discernment, and the sudden ability to block without shaking.
Chemistry is cute. Spontaneous combustion is not.
Why and your heart's on trial. Spritz, spritz away the pain. Emotional fire extinguisher puts out the flames.
Okay, so apparently mixing trauma bonding with unrealistic expectations does create smoke. Who knew?
You knew. You absolutely knew.
Okay, maybe, possibly. Anyway, welcome to what happens when compatibility gets ignored and chemistry takes over. This, my friends, is what we call a learning opportunity. Post-explosion debrief. You ever notice that chemistry is just science until you mix the wrong elements? That's dating in a nutshell. A few sparks, a little pressure, and boom! Suddenly your emotional eyebrows are gone.
That's why relationships need safety protocols, clear boundaries, communication, and the ability to pause before detonation.
Boundaries. Nature's fire extinguisher. Spray generously. Fire safety for feelings. So, quick survival recap. Know your chemicals. Don't mix anxious with avoidant unless you enjoy fireworks. Ventilate the lab, meaning keep your own hobbies, friends, and life. And for the love of fossils, wear gloves, also known as emotional awareness.
Translation: don't handle every hot situation with bare hands and wishful thinking.
Note taken. My fingerprints may never recover. Rebuilding the lab. Here's the thing. When the lab catches fire, it's easy to blame the chemicals. But sometimes it's the scientist who forgot to check the warning labels. Exactly. Every burnout reveals a pattern, a reaction you can learn from if you don't run from the mess. Maybe that's the real experiment. Learning to rebuild without repeating the same mistakes. Or shall we call them learning lessons? Speaking of rebuilding, you're not the only ones conducting wild emotional experiments out there. My inbox has been overflowing with stories from other brave field researchers who may or may not set their own labs ablaze.
Yes. Peer review time.
Exactly. It's time for listener mail, where we read your dating disasters, decode the data, and remind you that you're not the only one still smelling faintly of metaphorical smoke.
at sight. Swipe or bite, she's the queen of apocalypse plight. Beacons beep, data sleeps, hearts are left on red. Rap is keen, she's a screen between love and dread. Tracks the chats, hunts the stats, tales of ghosted fates. In the jungle of love apps, she's the one who interrogates. Swipe or bite, it's the end of the world tonight. Clever claws, sharp mind, she's solving swipes in flight. Dino-driven, she's living, cracking hearts at sight. Swipe or bite, she's the queen of apocalypse plight. Dinosaurs in cyberspace, it's a hunter's dream. She's clawed deep in pixels on this Jurassic team. Unraveling schemes through a techno-dino scream. Cupid's extinct, but her justice reigns supreme.